Climate change does have a champion in government after all. Last June, during a press conference in the Rose Garden, President Trump announced the United States would be leaving the Paris Climate Accord, seeking a better deal for the country and more control over its own destiny. As a result, hundreds of city leaders pledged to live up to the Paris Agreement and signed on as members of the Climate Mayors, a bipartisan peer-to-peer network of mayors working to demonstrate leadership on climate change. The mayors, also known as the Mayors' National Climate Action Agenda, existed before Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord. It was formed in 2014 when LA Mayor Garcetti, then Houston Mayor Annise Parker, and then Philadelphia Mayor Michael Nutter announced its creation during a United Nations Climate Summit in New York City. Much of the group's activities are coordinated out of Los Angeles, where the city's sustainability office organizes and directs meetings and information sharing between its members. The coalition, which now boasts 405 members representing 70 million Americans, was one of the most visible in a growing list of coalitions and organizations seeking to demonstrate U.S. commitment to fighting climate change and lowering emissions. Along with We Are Still In, a group of corporations and civic leaders, the one we belong to, C40, an international group of mayors united to enact progressive climate policy, Ready for 100, a Sierra Club campaign pushing renewable power, and others, the climate mayors pushed back against the narrative that the U.S. is abandoning its commitments and embodied the grassroots energy for change. At Boston University's Cities Initiative, Executive Director Catherine Lusk and research fellow Nicholas Gunkel recently co-authored a report, Cities Joining Ranks, which studied these groups. The report looked at 15 different organizations, 10 focused on environmental issues, and one each pertaining to immigrant inclusion, gun violence, violence involving men and boys of color, volunteering, and broadband access. In addition to finding a leadership vacuum at the federal level, one of the most frequent arguments for starting such groups, these coalitions also provide strength in numbers. They view critical mass as being key to amplify their voices to influence other levels of government, says Lusk. In other words, they stand together to influence others and signal their priorities rather than gain support for a specific policy. After the 2016 election, the coalition reached out to then-President-elect, writing a letter outlining the ways the group had worked with the previous administration and asking to be a partner with the White House on fighting climate change. To the best of our knowledge, there still has not been a response.